One of my clients almost left Mersin as cargo 200. A story about how we saved a real estate transaction in a person's life. What you need to know about Turkey, about Mersin, in order to, well, survive and stay healthy. My name is Alexei Sokolov. Since 2009 I have been living and working in Mersin. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. I talk not only about real estate, but also about life in Mersin. So, the events took place here, in Mersin, and the problem arose with the seller's documents. Please be attentive, property owners. Your new passports must match the name and surname written in the tapu, letter by letter. Pay special attention to the endings of names. This includes, I don't know, Alexei, Sergei, Nikolai, Valerie, and so on and so forth. Transliteration can change, so the letter at the end can be significant. For Turkey, unfortunately, it's a different person. The transliteration with the letter X has also changed. It's KS instead of X previously. If you are getting a new passport, make sure they are the same as the previous ones. When obtaining new passports, you can directly write a statement requesting to keep the transliteration and attach a copy of your old passport. They will do it exactly as it was before. Otherwise, in Turkey, you might encounter problems when selling property, because if the name Alexei was written one way and is written differently, you will need to provide a certificate. Naturally, you cannot do this when changing your name, so you have to change your passport. We encountered a situation where the seller had bought an apartment a long time ago. Naturally, it was forgotten that this needs to be monitored, and the name transliteration was changed. The problem is that the Russian citizen was not issued a new passport, but these are not the easiest times right now. What to do in such a situation? It might seem like a hopeless situation. But if you also find yourself in a similar situation, know that it can be resolved through the Russian consulate or the consulate of your country in Turkey. You need to obtain a certificate stating that your first and last name correspond to this first and last name, confirming that you are the same person. A certificate is issued for this. It is apostilled and submitted to the land registry office. That's what we did with the client. We contacted the consulate and obtained a certificate confirming that it is the same person. We submitted this certificate to the land registry office. Initially, we received the title deed under the new first name, last name, and the passport, the foreign passport with which the person entered. And in the second stage, we completed the transaction. Since the buyer participated in the transaction through a notarized power of attorney, which he left with us here in Turkey. In the second stage, we completed the purchase and sale. The transaction took place on Friday, and everything went well. The transaction was saved, and we received the title deed. But the second stage of saving began, in this case, the person. On Sunday, I received a message asking how to call an ambulance. Well, let's be honest. How often do you check your phone on a Sunday? Usually, we all relax. Sunday in Turkey is our only day off, so I wasn't trying to keep the phone in my hands. This time, the phone was in my hands, and I saw the message and realized that something didn't go as planned. You should know that in Turkey, an ambulance doesn't come after your first call. They don't come to grandmothers to measure their blood pressure or talk to them when they're sad, bored, and so on. In other words, here, an ambulance will come only in the most extreme cases, and you might have to wait a long time for it. Usually, they come for some kind of traffic accidents or similar situations. We contacted the management company, and the management company said, no, we can't help this person, we don't have transportation, and, well, we have our own other matters. We took the client to the city clinic in Vardemli. Those who have been there know. A good, large, public, crowded clinic. Unfortunately, I also had incidents of receiving help from them. Where translators should be known. In the evening and night time, there was already a translator. There isn't one. And even if you feel unwell, to put it bluntly, you feel really bad. But you have to pay for certain services. So we did this. We paid for the examination, and for everything else, they sent us to the cashier. A person cannot walk without a grunt. First, bring the receipt. Well, unfortunately, that's how it is, so you need to know about this. That, you have to pay for everything. In Turkey, healthcare is paid, there are public clinics, and there are private clinics. In any case, you will pay, even if you are insured. And if you have health insurance, your health insurance will cover only a very small percentage of these expenses. Well, it might be 10 to 20, and in many insurances, if you have a residence permit, there is a deductible. And the deductible is usually for 6 months. This means that for the first 6 months you cannot get sick, because, well, that's why. That's why their price is like that, and they don't cover very much. But there is full coverage for certain social insurance for Turkish citizens or those who pay for it. But believe me, you need to pay for insurance. It's a lot, so everyone gets used to the fact that you have to pay for medical services. When you travel to Turkey, when you travel abroad, know that. Just in case, you should have funds for, God forbid, unforeseen expenses of this kind. The Adamli Clinic responded to us as follows. After spending several hours on examinations, and so on, it was found gastrointestinal bleeding. Calm music. A certain amount of blood was transfused, but nevertheless, they said that they couldn't help further. And, they sent him to Mersin, to the university hospital. This is our very large state hospital, medical center. And the person was taken and placed in intensive care. I emphasize that the client is alone here. We have no contact with the relatives. And only the relatives found me. On the second or third day, the daughter found me, and that was by watching the YouTube channel. That's how important it is to subscribe to the channel. After watching me, they realized that their father came here to me, hoping I could provide some information about the condition of their relative. We signed documents, we explained, although we couldn't really say much, except that he is such a wonderful person, what he had been suffering from before, and so on. When medical actions became more effective, the person was able to explain that yes, it's chronic, it's an exacerbation, it was there before. And of course, the flight. And, of course, such a slightly stressful situation with the deal affects health. So please be attentive to your health. And this could have caused such serious actions. Medicine. In Turkey, medicine in your country may differ. Here, doctors do not report to you how they came to this conclusion. They will perform the procedure, they believe it needs to be done, especially since it's resuscitation. They believe they should do it. So, my client shared how he was treated in Russia and how he was treated in Turkey. It's all different. However, the actions were relatively effective, and the client was already able to stand up. We signed a waiver stating that we have no claims against The clinic. If something happens to us, we pick up the client on Thursday. And on Friday we send him directly from Mersin to Moscow. We took a stretcher like this at the airport. We asked the airline to accompany the client, but in fact, everything went well, everything was well accompanied. And the client immediately contacted his clinic and called an ambulance. In general, now he is alive, healthy and thank God, the story ended so well. What conclusions I have drawn for myself and what conclusions I want to share with you. First of all, please do not fly, well, not necessarily to Turkey, not necessarily to me. But in general, if you have some not very good health condition, know that flying always involves risks. And this strain on the body can trigger an exacerbation of certain some of your chronic illnesses. Medical care in Turkey is paid. Therefore, as I already mentioned, be prepared because you will have to pay. By the way, how much did the client have to pay? So we said, please do everything necessary, we will pay for everything. The clients, of course, had money, and we covered all of it. The matter was handled in 2 clinics, in Erdemli and in the university clinic. It cost us 79,000 lira, which is about 1,000 euros. By the way, about the clinic. I received a call from the Russian consulate in Turkey inquiring about this person's health condition. I told them which clinic he was in, but the clinic did not respond to any requests. The clinic was not communicating, so I was the only source of information. And, well, the consulate asked for help in this situation. And medicine, no matter what you say, I still believe that healthcare in Turkey is generally at a very good level. And many of my clients come to Turkey to treat various ailments. They especially come to do this because some services can be expensive. This includes dentistry, cosmetology, and eyes. We have very good eye clinics here in Mersin. This includes men who don't just get hair extensions, but actually get hair transplants. It's also very effective here. And basically, at the airport, you'll see a branch of clinics. When you arrive in Mersin, at Kukurova Airport, you'll see that there are clinics right there. What is this? This is medical tourism. That is, when a client arrives at the clinic, they are picked up right there, right at the service. They are taken to the hospital and undergo various procedures. Some planned operations, services, treatments, and so on. All medicines in Turkey are of very good quality. And many people don't take baklava, pastilla, or sweets from here, but more often they take medicines, vitamins. Medical drugs here are both cheaper and of higher quality. However, all medical services are paid. The difference between private and public clinics is that the cost in public clinics will be cheaper, but there's also a difference in the environment because more patients will come to public clinics, including more social categories of citizens who receive medical services for free. Private clinics are visited by those who have purchased service packages or who value the ambience and tranquility. That is, we have very beautiful hospitals, private ones. It's like entering a shopping mall where there are cafes and escalators. Well, everything is actually very elegant. I've had instances where, yes, I stayed and had surgeries in Turkish private clinics. Well, it's nice, just like a hotel, guys. It's nice, but don't end up there. Take care of your health. Also, you should know, as I already mentioned, that the ambulance here won't come at your first call. We had an incident when my daughter broke her arm, and they told us, like, it's better if you come by yourself. They told us right at the hospital. We called the ambulance, and they asked, do you have a car? We said, yes, we do. Well, come over, because it will actually be faster. Therefore, you should know that the ambulance will come only in the most extreme cases. You should also know that in many clinics in Turkey, there are interpreters available. Interpreters for various languages such as Arabic, English, and Russian. And they work directly at the clinics, of course. Most often they are there during daytime working hours. There are especially many interpreters in private clinics. Therefore, you can receive services in a language that is understandable to you. Medical terms will be explained to you, because even when my client was in the ICU, they called me and asked me to be present during the conversation. And they explained to him, through an interpreter, about his condition, the seriousness, and so on. So, interpreters are most often present in clinics. Well, of course, if it's not nighttime and in public clinics. But I think they won't be there. That's why a private clinic is good in this regard. Keep contacts of those who can help you in the place where you are located. So, if you live abroad, if you're not with family, if you're alone, then you should have, well, get to know a friend or a neighbor. Make some acquaintances who can save your life, who will respond if needed. Note that, again, if you're not alone, there should be some people nearby. People, please inform your relatives. Where are you going? If you're going abroad, if you've decided to give yourself a birthday gift, buy an apartment, make a surprise there. Your wife. Still inform someone where you went, just in case, where to look for you, because the situation was unclear, like where are the relatives, and what if something goes wrong, and if something does go wrong, I ask the question, who do you trust? To whom can we transfer your money? Son, brother, in-law, neighbor, what is your relationship with your wife? Can the money be transferred to your wife? Because my client left, taking the allowed amount of money so as not to declare it. And then, we have a service like delivering this money to your city. This is all a working scheme. Unfortunately, this scheme has been working for almost 3 years. Therefore, the issue of money, from one side to another, that is, it's not a question. It's just, unfortunately, our everyday reality today. Well, what can I say? Of course, take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Health is really very important. Love you and see you in the next videos. Bye bye.